And, like in America, a lot of ex-Nazi bureaucrats all got their jobs back or were reworked and reabsorbed into new institutions, right? So you had this new generation coming up in the 60s, radicalized by what they saw as the state not even dealing with the Holocaust and just still being basically a fascist state. They saw a continuation, right?
Yeah.
They said, but wait, all you guys are still here. And that was extremely destabilizing and radicalizing for this big generation.
Yes, yeah.
Now, we've talked a little bit about this, but a lot of the West German left supported Israel, right? They saw the creation of the state as a kind of socialist project.
Yeah, I mean, this was common throughout the left in a lot of Western countries, is that like initially there was this support of Israel, which all of this changed in 1967, but there was a support of Israel as like a socialist project, as like a liberatory sort of reaction to fascism. And so like it was left-wing from its very foundations.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of paradox of Zionism, right? Is that it is, well, it was and is, remains an attempt to emulate European nationalism in order to defend itself against it.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's very complicated. But in this moment, the kind of European nationalist project, like you say, was still seen as a kind of emancipatory European, an emancipatory like socialist project.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
As we kind of mentioned in the last episode, Israel's Six-Day War changed this calculation completely. And this is also from Hans Kundani. As the student movement radicalized, it turned against Israel, which is now understood to be a bridgehead of American imperialism in the Middle East, a position that was in part a reaction to the hated right-wing media mogul Axel Springer's vehement support of Israel. Now, during the war, Springer quipped that he had published Israeli newspapers in German for 6 days. First of all, that's a crazy-ass fucking thing to say.
That's a lot to unpack in that sentence.
But I think this is important, right? So Israel commences the Six-Day War, and the West German New Left is like, what the fuck? You're just an outpost of American imperialism.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, that the background for a lot of political stuff at this point is an anti-imperialist struggle, right? I mean, that is the one thing that links together the New Lefts from a lot of these different countries, except for France and Germany, in which the link is pro-pedophile activism. Well, kind of a lot of places.
Well, they also really hate each other.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm specifically Danny is who I'm talking about there, who we'll get to him in a little bit. Cohn-Bendit, or however the fuck you pronounce his name. But this is like, the background is that the war in Vietnam, the anti-colonial struggles happening in Africa, and Israel becomes part of that Western capitalist colonial machine that is dominating all these third world countries and fighting against them. And so, yeah, it really shifts then. It shifts here in America, too, except with many Trotskyist organizations.